I work from home, but my family yelled at me and called me lazy, telling me to leave with my dog. So, I decided to go. Since the house was mine, I sold it. What happened next? It was hilarious. We don't want you here anymore. Leave, you lazy person who works from home, my sister said angrily. Even my parents agreed, leave. I was tired of a family that didn't appreciate me and my dog. If they were going to act like that, then I'd do what I wanted. That's when I decided to get back at them. My name is Kathy, and I'm 33 years old and single. I design websites as a freelancer, which means I can work from home using just my laptop. I have a spot in my house where I work, and I set my own schedule. Even though I had a good job, my parents started to interfere with my work about 2 years ago. One day, while I was working at home, my parents came over to visit. As soon as they walked in, they glanced around the room and began talking. Mom, this house is really spacious. It feels like we could live here too, my sister said. You're right. There's even a spare room. Plus, it seems like a waste for Kathy to live in such a big house alone, she continued. Yeah, let's do it. We're moving in this weekend, my parents decided. They didn't even acknowledge me and made all the decisions without consulting me. I made it clear that I didn't want to live with them. Hold on, I don't want to live with you guys. What are you talking about? I protested. My father's face turned red with anger, and he shouted, you took control of this house, claiming it from your uncle, trying to make it yours. You've hit a new low. Take over? I simply had a conversation with uncle, and he gave it to me. Don't try to justify yourself. In any case, our old house is crumbling. Your mother and I are moving in here this weekend. In reality, this house was a gift to me from my father's brother, my uncle, who always spoiled me. The ownership is still under my uncle's name, but he gave me permission to use it however I wanted. According to my father, our family home has deteriorated significantly and requires extensive renovations if we want to keep living there. My mother doesn't work, and my father's income isn't very high, so renovating the house isn't feasible for us. That's why they targeted the house I inherited from my uncle. I wasn't happy about it, but my parents had made up their minds to sell their own house and said they had nowhere else to go. I couldn't leave them stranded, so I reluctantly agreed to live with them. As soon as they moved in, my parents started making sarcastic remarks. Hey Kathy, you're in your 30s already, right? Don't you think about settling down and getting married? I'm content with my job at the moment. If you keep saying things like that, it'll just push any potential suitors away, I replied. Why don't you take a cue from your sister? Well, my sister's marriage isn't exactly perfect, is it? But for now, I'm okay with how things are. At that point, my mother, who had been listening, chimed in, hey, don't speak ill of your sister like that. Unlike you, she's married and has a job at a company. You know, I may not be married, but I'm doing just fine with my work too. You're always glued to your computer. Are you earning money through some sketchy methods? My mother asked suspiciously. Sketchy methods? I earn my living through honest work. There's no need to be concerned. How dare you talk back to your mother? You're nothing like your sister. That's how it went. My parents kept comparing me to my sister. Yes, she has a job at a company, but she's only a temporary worker in an office position. I don't mean to belittle temp jobs, but I certainly make more money than she does. I understand that my parents' generation may not fully grasp the idea of working from home, but it was still painful to constantly feel underestimated. Then one day, while I was preparing dinner, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. To my surprise, it was my sister Sandy, carrying a lot of luggage. Hi Sandy, what's happening? I asked, confused. It's been a while, Kathy. This might seem sudden, but I'll be staying in this house from now on. I was taken aback and blurted out, huh? What? A big house? If Uncle was giving it to someone, it should have been me. Wait, hold on, you're moving and starting today? I had no idea about this. Did Mom and Dad tell you? I got divorced, you know, so I'll be relying on you from now on, Sandy said, ignoring my surprise. She went upstairs and claimed an empty room for herself. Despite my attempts to resist, my parents sided with Sandy, and I felt powerless to stop it. From that point on, my stress only grew. After her divorce, Sandy had quit her job and spent her days gossiping about me with our mother. Hey Mom, do you think this dress is cute? Oh, absolutely, Sandy. You look so pretty. It suits you perfectly. Do you agree? It's definitely not something Kathy would wear, right? Well, Kathy is more on the simple side. That's probably why she's having trouble finding a job. She just stays home and plays online, Mom said. Mom, you can't just say things like that, Sandy replied as I was cooking dinner. They purposely made sure I could hear their conversation. I was itching to respond, but I knew that would just play into their hands. So no matter what they said, I kept living without reacting. Then one day, a friend of mine had a litter of 4 puppies, and I decided to adopt one of them. I named him Muffin. He's a small black chihuahua with the most adorable round eyes. Whenever he looks at me, he wags his tail so hard it seems like it might fall off. Having a chihuahua has been a dream of mine since I was young. Working from home can get lonely, so I thought Muffin could provide some much-needed company. From now on, your name is Muffin, I said. Woof. I didn't really consult with my family when I decided to adopt Muffin. After all, this is my house, and I'm the one who will be taking care of all the expenses for him, so I don't see why they should have any complaints. When I brought Muffin home, as expected, my parents and Sandy started complaining. Hey, we didn't know you were getting a dog. That's right, dogs can be smelly, you know. I can't stand bad smells. Kathy, how could you just bring a dog home without talking to us first? We didn't agree to this. As they kept complaining, I firmly told them, firstly, I didn't just pick him up off the street. A friend gave him to me. Plus, I'm the one who's going to take care of all the expenses for Muffin, so there shouldn't be any problem. What I choose to have in my house is my business. If you have any complaints, you're welcome to leave.